Hey guys, Karl here with Tactical Rifleman. We do a new video every Friday. I decided I want to change it up a little bit. Just like a lot of other channels, Mr. Guns and Gears and everybody else, our videos are immediately getting demonetized as soon as we put them out. You guys think we're making a lot of money off of YouTube, but the reality is when I pay plane tickets for the film crew to come down from New York City, I buy ammo, hotel rooms, everything else. Honest, we're not making anything off of videos that are being demonetized. So you'll see we're pushing for people to go to Patreon. We are. Why? What do you guys get out of it? So, but a lot of people don't know. So just want to let you all in and let you know. So what we do is, depending on what level you become our patrons at, we do a quick shooting tip, a complete separate shooting tip video once a month that's not open to the public. We do a story time with Karl. Everybody wants to hear my war stories. Guys, I did 25 and a half years in the military, most of that in special forces. And I had a lot of time in overseas, lots of great stories. I don't do them on the open internet. I do them once a month on Patreon. We also do a question and answer video once a month. You guys send in questions. Everybody wants to comment, ask me questions. I, no joke, will answer all your questions every month. And at the end of the month, we do a live stream video interacting with just the patrons. So instead of fighting on a Tactical Tuesday live stream with 400 other people, we've got anywhere from 6 to 8 people there commenting. We have a great time. We've become a great Patreon family. So anyways, I want to give you guys a slice of that. I want to see what it's like to be part of the Tactical Rifleman Patreon family. So what I've done is I've randomly selected one of my story times with Karl. Small story. I share them once a month on Patreon, and I hope you enjoy it. All right, hey guys and lasses, don't want to leave Susan out. Welcome back again. Thank you again for your support here on Patreon. Without it, I could not keep doing this Tactical Rifleman gig. I'd have to be out, I don't know, washing cars or shoveling snow somewhere. All right, this month, we want to get into shooting people in the face. Yeah, I know that's always fun to talk about, but you know, I've been seeing all these people doing different things, and I saw this picture on the internet, on Instagram. You know I don't do social media, but the Tactical Rifleman team wants me to post things on Instagram. So if you follow us on Instagram, that's actually me posting stuff. Now, I don't know how to follow. I don't know how to unfollow. I don't know how to tag names, but I know how to upload pictures. I'm going to try to do better. I'm going to try to add more content to Instagram. I apologize that I'm a caveman at this stuff, but I am trying. I'm trying. But I saw somebody post a picture, and it said, "Good things are worth waiting for, and that's why I'm always late." And this picture had like 10,000 likes, and sounds kind of cool and all, but and funny. And I understand that's what Instagram's all about, entertainment. But kind of rubs me the wrong way. So I brought my soapbox today, and I'm going to get up on my soapbox, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. All right. So I grew up being, you've heard the term fashionably late. Oh, you know, it's okay to be fashionably late. You show up late to the party. She comes in a big gown. Everybody's already there, and they face the entrance, and she makes her grand appearance fashionably late. That's fine. When you talk about showing up for work, instead of showing up the last minute, you're showing more respect to your employer if you show up early for work. Okay, so is earlier better? How about if you're going to a party, you don't want to show up early, you show up an hour early, and the host of the party, you don't even have everything set up yet. So you don't want to be early either. So which is it? Now, I grew up in the Army, a regular Army, and I was part in Korea originally, the 2nd Infantry Division, if you can ride on helicopters, Black Hawks, you might have to sit there and wait all day. And then I went to the 101st Airborne, and I remember this one particular time, we were at Camp Lejeune, we were doing a big force-on-force thing against the Marines there, and after the whole thing wrapped up, there were all the Marines there, and we were there getting ready to be picked up by our helicopters, and the Marines were already there. And I was talking to them, you know, my little Recon scout team, talking to the other Marines, and I'm like, hey, when your helicopter's coming in, I have to set up a landing zone for our helicopters. Our helicopters are going to be here at like 9:30 in the morning. And he said, I don't know, our helicopters will be here between 8:30 in the morning and sundown. It's kind of a big window for a helicopter. But anyways, our helicopters ended up showing up a little bit later, and I didn't get on the first lift of helicopters. It was awesome to watch because you had like 5,000 Marines out there. They had no idea when their helicopters were going to show up. And my scout team, we set up the helicopter landing zone. In comes the big, huge CH-47s, are the ones with the big double dish rotors. They came in and they flared, and they were knocking Marines out of the bleachers. They blew over like 24 porta potties that the Marines had there. Some of the porta potties had Marines in them. We landed the helicopters, got them all settled down, got the 101st guys loaded on it. We did that for a few hours, and finally, when all the rest of the 101st was gone, the last Black Hawk that came in, picked up our guys, me and my team. We were about an hour late, no big deal, but that was par for helicopters. And the whole time I was thinking, man, so glad I'm in a unit where my helicopters show up fairly on time. You know, because those Marines were serious. They had no idea when their helicopters were coming in. So I was like, well, we're better than that. Fast forward, I get into Special Forces, and after Desert One, and that total shit show, you know, Delta working with the Air Force, and you got C-130s crashing into helicopters in Iran. I'm talking about the Iranian whole embassy fiasco with the American hostages there. What came out of that was the birth of this new helicopter unit called Task Force 160th. That's what they were called. They're the black helicopters. And fast forward, now they're known as 160th SOAR, Special Operations Aviation Regiment. But back in the day, we knew them as Task Force 160th. Now, they've got battalions in different locations. Their regimental headquarters actually co-located where my old unit was. And these guys, these helicopters were awesome. They're the best pilots in the world. Now, the Air Force has special ops helicopters, special ops. But Task Force 160th, they are the special ops helicopters for the Army. Now, I want that to sink in because the Army has got all these Apaches, all these Black Hawks, all these CH-47s, there's lots and lots of helicopters, but the cream of the crop, they have to go to selection and everything past it, then they go through Green Platoon, all this other stuff. You've got to be an experienced pilot, lots of hours, but if you make the cut, you get to go to the Special Ops helicopter unit called 160th SOAR. Now, these guys are awesome. Now, not bashing the Air Force, you know, I love them, you know, the Air Force is an excellent alternative to military service. It's a joke, but there's a little truth to it. When somebody tells you they're a Special Ops helicopter pilot, and I want you to think about that now. In the Air Force, you go to the Air Force Flight School. If you're the tippity top of your class, tippity top, you're the best of the best. You get to fly B-2 bombers, stealth bombers. You're the best. If you're right below that, you get to fly F-22 Raptors, fighters. And then right below that, if you make the cut, you get to fly the F-35 fighters. And below that, if you're awesome, you get to fly like AC-130 Spectre gunships and C-17s and all the big cargo planes. and then you work, or B-52 bombers, or F-111 bombers, and you start working your way down the hierarchy. Now, if you could just barely pass flight school and without drinking, barely down at the bottom, they put you with helicopters. Now, the only helicopters in the Air Force are special ops. So when somebody says they're a special ops helicopter pilot, okay, you're a helicopter pilot in the Air Force, you're part of special ops, I got that. I'm not bashing the guys. I'm just saying, when it comes to special ops helicopters, Task Force 160th, these guys are the cream of the crop, premier top helicopter unit on the planet. Ridden with them dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of times, and my hat's off to these pilots. They are awesome. And I was coming back one night, late afternoon actually. We just done something with 160th. I don't know if it was parachuting out of the birds or fast roping, whatever it was. We had just landed back at their home air base, which happened to be ours also, and air crew shut the helicopter down, and we're collecting up all our gear and everything, and I'm walking with the pilots back into the hangar because I'd parked out front. I had to go through their hangar by their offices to get to where I'd parked my vehicle. I walk into the hangar, and written up on the wall in the hangar, big huge letters, it says plus or minus 30 seconds or not at all. Plus or minus 30 seconds or not at all. Okay, you guys are on time, I got it. And the guy grabbed me by the wrist, and he stopped me, and he's like, no, seriously, plus or minus 30 seconds or not at all, we're gonna be there. I'm like, okay, you guys are on time, got it. He's like, no, I want you to understand this. You're the guy on the ground. You, the guy on the ground, can be in the middle of a gunfight and have your radios broken. If we tell you we're gonna be there at 0200 hours in the morning on the dot, and you're in a major gunfight right next to this wide open field where the bad guys can shoot at you, if your radios aren't working and you can't get hold of us, within 30 seconds of 0200 hours, even if you don't hear the helicopters, you can go out into the open. We are gonna be there plus or minus 30 seconds from that time to pick you up, whether it's a hot LZ or not. There could be gunfire coming in. We will come get you. We'll be there plus or minus 30 seconds. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty awesome. And then he grabbed me again. He's like, no, I want you to understand that, because we're willing to come in to get you. Guns blazing, middle of a gunfight, RPGs, machine guns, everything shooting at our helicopters. We will be there within 30 seconds, but we expect you to be there too. If we're willing to risk our lives and our bird, your ass better be there. You make sure you're there on time, or you let us know ahead of time that you're gonna be late or you're gonna be early. We'll adjust. We'll be there for you. That's our job. And like, okay, cool, dude, you're gonna be on time, I got it. And I walked away. And it started eating me up. I said, why is it that important to this guy? And I thought about it, and I was like, okay, makes sense. Makes sense. These guys are willing to risk this multi-million-dollar special ops helicopter. They're really willing to risk their lives for us. Okay, I got it. Makes sense. Not that long after that, my unit went to go do this big training exercise, and our train up was this place called Mercury, Nevada. And for those of you that don't know what Mercury, Nevada is, it's it's owned by Department of Energy. It's an old nuclear test site. It's north of Nellis Air Force Base, and right outside Las Vegas, north of Las Vegas. The northern edge of Mercury, Nevada is where Area 51 is, all the aliens and everything. Yeah, right, whatever. All right, but that's where Area 51 is. Right below that is Mercury, Nevada, where they tested all the nukes. How many nukes did they test out there? They tested so many nukes out there back at the start of the Cold War that they would actually post it in the newspaper so everybody could come out of the casinos in Vegas and look north and watch the nuclear weapons going off, because I guess it would be cool to see. I've never seen one, but I imagine it'd be pretty neat. So anyways, Mercury was a great place to go do desert training. You'd be flying on helicopters, and I mean, there are craters. They look like they belong on the moon. That's how big these craters are. You're not allowed to go out by them or nothing. But you had to wear a Radiac badge the whole time you were there. And it was kind of neat that we were training in an area like that. There'd be barbed wire on the side of the road. You weren't allowed to cross the barbed wire because that area had too high radiation levels. And so we had our Geiger counter mounted to the steering column of our truck just for shits and giggles. And yeah, that arrow would move a little bit. We actually had one road that had barbed wire on both sides. I guess radiation can't cross barbed wire. I don't know. It was a great place to go train. Large, wide open areas. Certain classified units do their selection there. It's a great place to go train. We did our big train up there. We did our isolation there, battalion headquarters, mission planning, everything. We're doing this big evaluation. It's part of the whole National Training Center big thing. And my team's mission was to go infill to another spot in the desert and go put eyes on my little sniper team. Well, part of my A team. I call it a reconnaissance team. It wasn't a sniper team. It was me, two other guys. We had our digital camera, which was like one of the first times these things were ever being used. We even had a 35 millimeter camera. We were supposed to shoot 35 millimeter film, and then it could be lifted off if necessary. Didn't have a SATCOM. Actually, we did. We had a SATCOM radio. One of the first times we'd use them, and then we had this other radio. I think it was a 137 or something. Just crazy, unconventional warfare radio. Really cool thing. But three-man team. My commo guy didn't go with us. It was me, engineer, Art, you're the man. But Art's background was he was a commo guy in LURS-D 100 years ago, so he was real good at commo. And I'm the man. I got Art. I think we had one other guy with us. I remember who it was. Supposed to put eyes on the target, and then if we were going to actually assault this target, more teams would come and link up with us. Well, to infill us, we were going to ride on an MH-47 helicopter, Task Force 160th. Now, that's a big helicopter for three guys. We weren't the only ones on the bird. The scuba team for my company, 535, they were going to infill and go do I don't remember whether it was a sniper takedown or whether they were shooting up Scud missiles or something, but I remember them infilling. They had the Barrett 50 cal and the big camouflage backpack that it comes with. So they planned it out, and we're with the pilots planning the routes and everything. They're like, all right, we're going to infill 535 at like 01:36 in the morning, or that's when they're going to drop off the scuba team. And then my team was supposed to infill, I think it was like 02:22 or something, some odd number. They said that's what time they were going to drop us off. I picked out a good helicopter landing zone where we were going to be. We're going to be a couple terrain features away. In other words, a couple mountains between us and where we wanted to be, so that there was zero chance that the bad guys could hear this big monster helicopter. And that still gave us the rest of the night, 2-3 hours to move, to get eyes on the target before the sun came up. Good plan. I remember it being an odd time, and it clicked in my head what that pilot said back in the hangar, plus or minus 30 seconds or not at all. There's just no way. But I'm like, let's put it to the test. Double check my GSOC watch, and we infilled. We flew for, it was a couple of hours, a long flight, nap of the earth, flying around below the mountaintops out in the desert, weaving left and right. Supposedly they had to take an odd route to work around surface-to-air missile and anti-aircraft batteries that were being simulated for this big scenario. So we had to take an odd route to get there. And lo and behold, they go to infill 535, and 535 had them put them down on literally on the the top of a ridge. There was no place to land. I specifically remember sitting there, and I'm looking out the side windows like, dude, there's no way they're going to land on this thing. Well, they kind of put the helicopter backwards, and then they ended up sitting it with like one rear wheel on the top of this thing, and dropped the ramp a little bit. And I remember seeing the scuba team go out the back with their 50 cal. You get this, the helicopter never landed. They basically put one or two rear wheels on the top of this ridge, and the team actually ran off the side of the ramp to stay on top of the mountain. Insane. Doing this in the dark, wearing nothing, flying with nothing but night vision goggles. So we still got a ways to go. They dropped that team off. I was like, they made it. I mean, they were literally right on time to drop off the scuba team. How? Okay, they planned their routes. I got it. GPSs were new then. Route planning. These guys have got it down. Well, we start coming around, and I'm looking through the little bubble window on the side. Rolling, crusty desert, just odd. Like, we're going to make our time. We're going to make it. It was like 02:22, whatever the time was. I'm looking at my watch, and the helicopter came into a little bit of a hover, and then it came over the radio, hey, we can't put down here. We can't. Apparently, I had picked a bad spot on the map. So they searched around. They had to look around for about 2 minutes, and they finally found a spot where they could sit the helicopter down. We ran off. We started our mission. I remember taking a knee, getting down, cringing, big rucksack on my back, helicopter flaring to take off. About blew me over, dust, crap everywhere. As the helicopter flew away, I looked down at my watch, and it was about 2 minutes late. I thought about it. Plus or minus 30 seconds or not at all. The only reason why they were late was because I had picked a bad spot on the map. And I want that to sink in. We had flown through the dark for 3 hours weaving around. That's how anal these guys are about route planning. They'll adjust the speeds of the helicopter up or down so that they get there on time. Okay, is it really necessary for infilling reconnaissance teams? I don't know. But fast forward, after the towers fell, lots and lots of combat ops. Fast forward, initial invasion of Afghanistan, initial invasion of Iraq, multiple trips to Africa, multiple trips back to Iraq, and constantly working with Task Force 160th. I specifically remember we were working with the Iraqi counter-terrorist force, and we were receiving gunfire as we were going to be leaving the target area, and they called. We're talking to aircrew over the radio. Not me specifically, but I'm hearing it over comms. I'd switched to the command net, and actually we're still on assault primary. They had dropped down to our net. They were talking, and they wanted to know where the bad guys were, directions from where we were going to be, because they were going to come in and suppress with miniguns if we were still under fire. They did not care at all that it was going to be a hot LZ. Now, we had in the past been working with Air Force Special Ops helicopter units and had them actually land a kilometer, that's 1,000 meters, that's 10 football fields away from where they were supposed to, because they saw a tracer go by. All right. We've had them not come in because of gunfire, and we've had to go in alternate positions. It's kind of a pain in the neck. It just means that the ground pounders have to walk some more. And here's this 160th Special Ops helicopter crew saying, guys, we'll come in, or just let us know. We'll come in, guns blazing. We're going to come in. Just let us know where you want the fire. And it turns out by the time they came in, nobody wants to shoot at Task Force Raptor because we like shooting back. Anyways, by the time the helicopters came in, we already had everybody in PZ posture, pickup posture. In other words, all lined up nice and pretty. Helicopters came in, picked us up, nice, smooth, and came back to base. And while I was sitting in the doorway, doors open, flying back, and Iraq is beautiful at night, flying over the cities and everything, night vision goggles, and you look on the side and there are lights on in the city, and there are a few people out driving, violating curfew. Who cares, right? And it's easy to spot all the military bases and cops and everything. It's just beautiful. It really is. Now, that said, everything is beautiful when you're sitting in the door of a helicopter doing 120 knots wearing night vision goggles. Everything is beautiful. The world is a beautiful place to be in when you've got loaded guns in your hands and you're wearing night vision goggles sitting in the door of a plane. But I remember sitting there flying back, and this is just having a great day. It was a great night. Didn't get to kill anybody, but we got the high value target we were after. We got jackpot, flying back, and I thought about it again. I was like, plus or minus 30 seconds or not at all. But honestly, these guys will come in under fire. These guys really are the best. So fast forward now. Everybody's got GPSs in their cars. You've got GPSs on your phones. You've got calendar updates. You've got phones where you can quickly set alarms to remind you that you need to do this. You've got phones with apps like Waze that will tell you where traffic is, tell you where police checkpoints are while you're traveling. You've got Google Maps and all these other apps that will help you bypass traffic. We live in a world where the technology will allow you to travel with the exact accuracy that Task Force 160th had decades ago when I first started flying with them. All right? So I want that to sink in, that my personal standard in my life is plus or minus 30 seconds. That's my goal. I don't show up early for meetings. I don't care if I got to ride up early in the elevator and then chit chat with the people out in the lobby. I don't care if I have to pass by where I need to pull in and make one extra lap around the block so that I pull in on time. I don't care if I have to sit in my vehicle in the paid parking for a couple extra minutes, catch up on some emails or some text while I'm there. But I am on time. And what that shows people is not only is this guy on time, he's reliable, right? But he's also not wasting his time by coming early and sitting around. It shows people that I am a responsible person, right? And that's important. It's not hard at all to find a plumber. It's not hard to find an air conditioner guy to fix the air conditioning on your house. But if you can find a plumber or a handyman that is, instead of saying I'll be there between 8 and 12, he says he'll be there at 9 a.m. and he's there at 9 a.m., you find that guy, you hold on to him. I mean, you do. That's the guy you're going to use in the future. So anyways, that's my soapbox about being on time, not being late. Fashionably late, gents, you're late. All right, that's just how it is. So anyways, that's my little story time with Karl this month. And I hope you all enjoyed it. Again, thanks for continuing to be patrons for us here at Tactical Rifleman. We love you guys and we appreciate your support. Y'all take care. Shoot straight. If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter so you don't miss out on anything.